In the far reaches of the Sang Naga star system, where fractured moons orbit gas giants and ambition spans light years, a singular power rose not through war, but through infrastructure. Not born from monarchy nor revolution, but from spreadsheets, spaceports, and the material that powers entire civilizations, Solamite. The new Sol Commowealth. The new Sol Commonwealth, NSC, traces its origins to the twilight of Earth's final days. As the planet succumbed to ecological collapse, the Confederation of Southeast Asian nations abandoned the faltering Mars colonization program and focused its efforts on the Unisolar program, a desperate bid to escape extinction by reaching the stars. In 2173 CE, 4 colossal generation ships, Ark Nusantara, Ark Langit, Ark Suvarnabhumi, and Ark Mayon, departed the solar system, carrying 850,000 souls toward what was hoped to be salvation in the 2 potentially habitable exoplanets in the Teegarden star system. But fate had other plans. After a radiation catastrophe mid-journey and the hasty adoption of the experimental sprawl drive, the fleet veered off course and arrived in the Sang Naga Cluster in 2195 CE. There they discovered 4 habitable worlds, 3 orbiting a gas giant and 1 planet in the system's Goldilocks zone. Only some of the worlds were ideal, and Psi, volcanic, arid and geologically unstable, was the worst candidate for colonization. In orbit, the Ark captains convened for a fateful decision. With no consensus on who should settle which world, they drew lots to decide. The people of Ark Nusantara, whose residents mainly originate from Singapore and Vietnam from Earth, drew the short stick and were assigned to Psi. To many, it felt like exile, yet what appeared to be a curse became destiny. While digging beneath the surface to establish geothermal shelters, settlers discovered immense reserves of solamite, a crystalline mineral with extraordinary energy conductivity, essential for power generation and spaceflight. Overnight, Psi went from barren wasteland to an economic heartland. Under the leadership of Teng Hao Yun, a pragmatic and visionary commander from Ark Nusantara, Psi rapidly organized into an efficient industrial society. Known for his charisma and iron will, Teng declared a state of emergency governance, consolidating power to ensure survival and productivity. He ruled like a benevolent autocrat in those early decades, our necessary tyrant, as he was later called. It was under Teng's rule that Psi launched the first spacecraft in the cluster by 2258, and by 2271 it had monopolized most of the asteroid belt, which was where the majority of solamite was found aside from Psi and Merdeka. Thus began the Psi-Shan century, a golden era of industrial dominance and orbital expansion. Psi built the first shipyards, deployed proto-fleets to safeguard solamite trade routes, and chaired intercolonial economic summits. The other colonies, Semarak and Hujan, came to rely heavily on Psi's technology and infrastructure. The policy known as the Tang Doctrine mandated that in order to achieve solar unity among the 3 nation-states, Psi would control all sources of solamite in order to strong-arm the other colonies into fulfilling Teng Hao Yun's dream, the dream of Unisolar, a united human nation in the Sang Naga Cluster. But power bred friction, accusations of exploitation and favoritism mounted, tensions over resources and autonomy escalated, culminating in the Merdeka territorial crisis of 2275, the discovery of solomite on the planet and the subsequent mining of its solomite reserves by Semarak and Hujan destroyed Psi's solomite monopoly, undoing the decades of work towards unity. Faced with the growing storm, Teng Hao Yun made his final and perhaps greatest decision. He would not tighten his grip, but loosen it. Although Psi could potentially defeat the other two colonies in warfare, Teng Hao Yun came to the conclusion that unity forged through blood will be unravelled in blood. In 2022-76, Teng formally dissolved his emergency powers and presided over the creation of the new Sol Commonwealth, a parliamentary democracy rooted in cooperation, accountability and shared prosperity. He served as its first president, guiding the young nation through its foundational years before dying of heart disease during the height of the Malacca border crisis. While peace eventually prevailed during the crisis, it was the closest to war that the colonies had ever reached. He died under the belief that total interplanetary war had started, a brutal irony for a man who had dedicated his entire life towards peace and unity. The name New Sol Commonwealth was especially endorsed by Teng Hao Yun as it harkened back to the origins of the human race, the Sol system. The name was also strategically chosen as a message to the other colonies, that Psi was the true inheritors of Earth's legacy. From the ashes of Earth and the cursed soil of Psi, the new Sol Commonwealth was born, not by fortune, but by grit, vision, and the resolve of a man who knew when to lead with strength and when to let go. Psi, the Commonwealth's homeworld, is a moon unlike any other in the cluster. Orbiting the gas giant Jinbu, Psi boasts a single supercontinent surrounded by oceans, a low-gravity environment of 0.63 G, and a society deeply intertwined with solomite extraction and refinement. Its cities are vertical, efficient, and immense, testaments to engineering in low gravity. From the twin orbital elevators of Two Gates, to the polished bureaucratic corridors of Entrepot, to the scholarly heights of New Kepong, Psi is both a marvel and a warning. Centuries of overmining have destabilized parts of its crust, especially in older cities like Port Trang, where sinkholes and tectonic failures are increasingly common. Still, Psi's economic engine hums on, sustained by climate-control domes, advanced transit infrastructure, and a disciplined workforce shaped by national service and public duty. At the heart of the Commonwealth's political machine is Entrepot, its capital city and bureaucratic core. Officially a parliamentary democracy, the NSC's unique flavour of governance merges electoral politics with technocratic oversight. While citizens vote for parliamentary representatives, real power often lies with the Technocratic Council, a body of engineers, economists and scientists who guide national policy. Key ministries include the Ministry of Expansion and Trade, Infrastructure and Transit, Defence and Strategic Affairs, and the Office of the Solomite Commission, a semi-autonomous agency responsible for managing the NSC's most precious resource. But the Commonwealth's stability has not come without cost. Critics call it a crony technocracy, citing the dominance of corporate interests, lack of rural representation, and a bureaucratic apparatus that often values institutional loyalty over innovation. Elections are held, but reform is slow, and dissent, while not silenced outright, is rarely welcomed. The Commonwealth's wealth rests on three pillars: solomite, logistics, and infrastructure. With near total control of the Sang Naga asteroid belt and the only facilities capable of refining solomite to high purity levels, the NSC dominates regional trade. Its economy runs on zero-gravity manufacturing, artificial habitat construction, and interstellar freight corridors. However, this prosperity comes with warning signs. The solomite guilds, private conglomerates descended from the earliest mining corporations, hold massive influence, often blurring the lines between government and industry. While unemployment remains low, income inequality is on the rise. Entire districts in Outer Entrepot and Port Trang remain untouched by the prosperity that powers the Commonwealth's sleek orbital towers. The Commonwealth Navy is small, precise and dangerous. In contrast to the Malayan Republic's hulking armadas and the United Kingdom's Wolfpack flotillas, the NSC focuses on large capital ships, impenetrable defence and tactical manoeuvring. Its ships, designed for precision strikes and rapid response, are built at the Saigon Fleet Yards, a massive dry dock complex nestled inside Nix, a fortified asteroid at size L4 Trojan Point. The Navy is not designed to conquer, but to deter, following the doctrine of fleet in being. With 32 warships spread out between 3 fleets, although much smaller in size than its contemporaries, its vessels are larger and much more technologically advanced, with 10 of those 32 warships being capital ships. Alongside the Navy, the NSC maintains a coastal militia, which operates smaller patrol cutters and customs vessels for planetary and intersystem security. The Commonwealth's boots on the ground manifest in the Commonwealth Colonial Defence Force, a 15,000-strong peacetime ground force. NSC society is disciplined, orderly, and meritocratic. Influenced by its Singaporean and Vietnamese heritage, it emphasises education, public service, and technological excellence. Every citizen undergoes performance benchmarking throughout their youth with placements into academic, military, or technical tracks by early adolescence. National service, often in engineering, logistics, or research, is seen as a rite of passage. Beauty is efficiency. Design is minimal. Rituals, holidays, and civic life revolve around themes of colonial perseverance and infrastructure heroism. Yet beneath this polished exterior, unrest simmers. A rising generation, led by youth in Two Gates and Port Trang, is challenging the sterile dream. Underground art movements, experimental music scenes, and rebellious subcultures push back against societal conformity. And as the Commonwealth advances, questions of environmental degradation, individual freedom, and cultural homogenization continue to grow louder. Officially neutral with the escalating conflict between the United Kingdoms and Malayan Republic, the Commonwealth walks a fine line. While diplomatic on paper, its relationship with the UKSN remains frosty, plagued by accusations of espionage and cyber warfare. With the Malayans, relations are more cordial, but rumours persists that the NSC covertly supports the rebel organisation called the Reds deep within Malayan space. As the Sang Naga Cluster teeters toward all-out war, the question remains: will the Commonwealth continue to walk the tightrope of neutrality and profit, or will it reveal the weight of its hidden hand? YouTube membership and Patreon are now live. Join at 2nd tier to receive a star map of the Sang Naga Cluster. Join at the 3rd tier to become a lore master and name certain places, ships and characters. A quick thank you to our channel supporters on Patreon and YouTube membership: Crapto, Charlie the Monk, Kaiser Podge. Thanks for all the support so far. Unisolar out.